Poddin My Noggin, hosted by CK Sims, creating a platform to elevate, educate, and heal by creating a space where people can share their stories of struggle, triumph, and redemption. CKS Media.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this season's final episode of Poddin My Noggin. Wow, I almost forgot the name of my show. I promise that I will try and make this show as interesting as possible, as it's my final episode. And yeah, it's so interesting, actually. It's my final episode of Poddin My Noggin, for real. And I'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. I'm currently sitting around my desk with all my crystals. I have plenty. I got some new ones for the holidays. My favorite is a gift from my bestie. And look how beautiful that is. Oh my God. I just love it so much. And I always say my favorite color is sparkly or shiny, but it's very sparkly and it's beautiful. And I love it so much. I have candles lit, white for purity, green for abundance. And I've written my intention down on a piece of paper as well while I'm filming this show. And my intentions are, just as you will know, because I'm all into like the witchy things and manifestation and all of that fun jazz. And it's that this show will be seen by 1 million people, and it will reach partners and sponsors, subscribers, musicians, comedians, actors, public figures, and Brené Brown, Oprah. I did say Oprah as well. And everyone I need to make this show my full-time abundant living. Okay. And to help others and reach the masses and just uplift others and hold a space and a platform that shows people that you can succeed, you can overcome adversity and become a better version of yourself. And all my guests that I've had on the show for the last 2 years have absolutely shown that. That's what I'm putting out into the world right now with this show. I'm touching on my crystals, candles are lit, my intentions are set for this show and for future shows. So it's actually early morning right now. Well, I say early morning, it's not. It's almost noon. It's just before 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm having my third coffee of the day. Coffee's good for me and makes me perky and happy and all of those fun things. So, it's becoming tradition now, I guess. It's the third year to film an episode on New Year's Eve. It is New Year's Eve today and it's the close of 2025. And I am very excited. 2025 is closed, but it wasn't all bad. We'll talk some more about that in a minute. So yeah, but it's New Year's Eve, so I'm going to also publish this episode on New Year's Eve as well. People have New Year's Eve plans, so I don't know who's going to see it, but I've set my intentions and I'll let the universe do its work. And I don't suspect it's going to be seen by 1 million people today. It could take a year to be seen by 1 million people. Who knows? But anyway, so yes, it's been 2 years. The first episode I'd ever recorded was on New Year's Eve, 2023. And I've told the story before, I was very sick, recorded it using a clip chain from Microsoft. I was absolutely novice and didn't have any of the equipment, or I had the mic that's never in frame, but because it's super sensitive. I had this mic and I didn't know much. I still don't know a ton about sound and development and production and all of those things, but I didn't know that the mic didn't have to be right in front of you. So if you go back and actually watch that first episode 2 years ago, you will see how close it is to me. When I went after to edit, and I didn't actually edit much of it, which was really surprising. I was super sick, but I did the cut in one take. I don't think, if I remember correctly, there was any editing because I'm not a good editor. So, but the mic was right close to my face. It picked up, because you're sick, you're swallowing a lot. It picked up every single swallow, every single one. Oh my gosh. And anyway, it took me I feel like a whole week of running it through every possible program that I could try and download or purchase or get a trial for online. to get noise suppression to remove the swallows. And in the end, Audacity was the one that actually worked for me and took the swallows away. And it has been such a journey for me since that first show. I have gotten to meet so many incredible, awe-inspiring people. Like, I just can't believe it. And then one of the big things that really sort of happened at the end of the first season and really took place in the second season, this season of Poddin My Noggin, was what you see behind me. People sent me their books. And I remember, I think it was D. Paul Fleming that was on the show. His book is back, right? Where are you, D. Paul? Right there, right there. I think I told him, I think it was him, maybe it was someone different. My mind sometimes like a goldfish, but I had said that, I don't get paid for what I do here. Like I don't earn any money for podcasting, and I've been doing it for 2 years, and that's fine. But then I stopped and I thought to myself, well, actually, that's not necessarily true, because this is a form of currency I do enjoy. Right. So each one of these books has dollar values attached to them if you had to buy them in the store. So I can't really say that I didn't earn anything, because I did earn all of these books, and more that are not seen here, because I've received books that I haven't had the chance to interview those authors yet, or we've just kept missing connections. So they're off to the side, but not necessarily will not show up behind me at some point. And a part of my promises is that when you send me a book, you're going to live on my backdrop for the entire season. And I kind of make it an entire year at least. And then, as new books come in, hopefully for this next season, these will get shifted up and we'll add the new books in as well. And I don't know, maybe I'll have to move this space back that way a little bit so that I can get in another whole shelf, because it depends, right? I am claiming abundance for 2026, and that could be monetary. It could be lots more books. It could be guests. It could be all kinds of things, right? So I made my notes, of course, because I wanted to talk about this year. This is what I do at the end of every year. I do it in a journal as well, where I get reflective about the year and where I was and how I was doing. And yeah, so here we are. And I want to kind of go through the year and talk about myself and what has happened and all of those things. We'll start off with gratitude. That's a great starting place for anyone, anywhere, anytime. I am so grateful for the opportunity to have this platform, to get to talk to all of the wonderful guests that I get to talk to, and to have the opportunities that have come from just starting this show. And, I mentioned Brené Brown in here. I did send her a request. I haven't heard back, and that's fine. I know that she is the most requested person for the podcast, and for good reason, right? But I did send a request out. I was hoping to hear back, because I'm nearing my 100th unique guest. And I really wanted the 100th unique guest to be someone who is like a inspiration to me. And there are actually lots of people that could fill that spot. But there's something about Brené Brown that really she helps me, not personally, yes, personally, but not in person. Her Call to Courage Netflix special came out after I tried to take my life, and after I worked really hard at sort of reprogramming my inner dialogue. And it was that call to courage and her talk about stepping into the arena that helped me want to be that person and to step out from behind fear and do it anyway. Be vulnerable. Who cares? And that just starting the show was very much that. It was on those words that I held very near to my heart that got me to say, I've always wanted to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to step into the arena, and I'm going to start this for myself. And oh my God, that first episode airing, I was very nervous with my first guest, Jen Lord, who is my first guest this season, and she will be my first guest next season. We have lots to catch up on. And I'm so grateful that for those words, for her special, for the work that she's doing, because I feel like I wouldn't be here doing this show if it weren't for those words. I mean, that's what I feel. Maybe I would be. I don't know, but like I really do feel that she played a pivotal role in helping me realize that I can be vulnerable in public and and do things that scare the shit out of me, essentially. And this show scared the shit out of me for a really long time. So yeah, I am so grateful for that. And I am manifesting that Brené Brown will come on this show, right? I don't know if she'll be my 100th guest because I think I'm just 3 away from that. And she'd have to reach out very soon to make that happen. So anyway, but it doesn't matter because I believe that I will have to get the opportunity in my life to sit with her and have a conversation. I want to celebrate her. I'm a feminist. Everyone should know that if you watch this show. I love that she is this incredibly powerful and influential woman who takes up her space and is such a great leader. She's leading people to be better versions of themselves. And I hope she knows how impactful her words and her work really is. And I just adore her immensely. Of course, I have my Oprah as well. Oprah was the reason I wanted to do the show. I've always loved watching Oprah interact with guests, and I grew up with her. I watched every episode, and that was one of the things that implanted in me this desire to be having my own show. Another intention I would like to set is that one day I want to be able to have a studio audience. I don't know if I want to be on TV because it's so regulated, but I would love to be successful enough to have a small studio audience that I can interact with on each and every show. And like ideally, I would do a five day a week show where I had guests on every day, studio audience, and that was the opportunity. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about this year is anger. This year I started out so angry and I didn't know why. Didn't know why I was so angry and couldn't shake it. And while it did not fix everything, I decided that I was angry and I felt lonely. My cat passed away last year in April. And she was my buddy. And I've never had a dog before. And so I went out and I apologized, but I purchased a dog. I had a very distinct dog in mind from a reputable breeder in Quebec. They're very regulated here and had all of their papers, and she was very healthy and all of those things. So I did purchase a dog. If I get a second dog, it will be a rescue dog from a shelter. But I want to get a house, and that is an intention for 2026 is to buy myself a house with a big backyard so Piper can run around and frolic and play and live her best life. We do really well though. In our current home, we're on a second floor. She has lots of walks and lots of space to run around. And she's just a small dog, and she is the love of my life. She's right here. If you can see here, my best friend also did this. It's actually a diamond dot painting. I don't know if that's how you would say it, but it's diamond dot. That is her. And one of her sort of vet appointments, and it was raining. So she was in her rain jacket. Of course, she has a whole wardrobe of her own. I have no problems with that. Yes, I do dress my dog, and she seems to be okay with it. And she has a snowsuit and booties for when she goes out for her daily walks. And yeah, her name is Piper, and she is the love of my life. I just can't even. I will not take the remaining 45 minutes to talk about Piper and being a dog owner because I think my best friend tells me that she just understands all the time because like that's what having a dog is. And she's like my child and I love her. She doesn't go everywhere with me, but she's just such a great life changing dog. And she did help with the anger. But ultimately, that wasn't what fixed the anger. The second thing about Piper, before I forget though, is that I have not laughed as much as I have since I got her, or smiled, or felt so much joy since I've gotten her. I don't remember a time in my life where I've laughed that much. She makes me laugh almost every day because she's such an animated, like her dad, such an animated and expressive animal. I'm watching, she's eating something over there that she's not supposed to, but that's the story of my life. And she has a lot of attitude as well, which I find really funny, but I try not to laugh at her because I want to hurt her feelings. Whatever, it is what it is. But she's just truly the most incredible little creature God has created. And that's how I feel about it. So the anger, I realized, it lasted pretty much until the fall. And I realized that the anger came from unresolved feelings of helplessness that I had when I was growing up in my teenage life and in my early 20s and things like that. And it was brought on by Trump and the state of the world and the things that are happening in America to the people that I would consider my neighbors, always have, always will. The things that were happening on the other sides of the world with the wars and things that were happening in our own political sort of environment here in Canada. And there was this feeling of helplessness and rage, obviously, because of, emphasized by the helplessness, because I felt so helpless to watch all of the people that were suffering and not being able to do anything, or realizing that nothing I did actually mattered in the grand scheme of things, right? Like nothing was going to change anything. I did make peace in late August with the fact that all I can do is talk about it, address it, be open about it, and keep manifesting that life will turn around, get better for all of those people, and just we'll get through Trump, we'll get through the war, we'll come out to some version of a new normal. It won't be the way it was before. There's a lot of work that the American government has to do, the judicial system, but maybe it's needed. That was the other part that I realized. Maybe it's needed to bring about a change that's even better that we just can't see yet. And I don't like the idea of positivity, but I think that as a human race, we need to be hopeful. We have to have hope in our hearts, even though when we're seeing things burn or catch on fire, we have to remain hopeful that things will get better and talk about it. Take up space, do what you can. But if you found yourself feeling helpless this year, you are not alone, because it has been a dumpster fire of a year, all around. And we will get through it. We will, without question. We will get through it. We've gotten through worse. We'll get through this. And it's just a matter of time and remaining vigilant and your intentions and what you're doing, how you're moving through life, and choose kindness always. That is my mantra, is be kind to yourself first and foremost. You have to be kind to yourself to start. You can't deplete yourself in the act of being kind to others. You have to be kind to yourself to start. You have to feel full and that you love yourself and all of those things in order to Pepper. Nay, stop. Thank you. You have to be kind, and you have to lean into that kindness. We're looking at the white Christian nationalists. I say F them, to be honest, because they have made a mockery out of what God's word is and what Christianity is supposed to be about. We have real Christians out there. Like I said before, it is time not to be quiet, not to get loud, but to get out in the streets and show what Christianity really is with your actions, with your intentions, with your messages. We can do this. So many people have run from Christ because of how these people have muddled those waters and have made it poisonous, and people want nothing to do with it. If you've watched my show, I love me some Jesus. I am a gay Christian, an oxymoron, I know, but whatever. There are great Christians in this world. There are great Muslims in this world. There are great people of all faiths. And the true Christianity is not what we see rising up so big and so blatant and aggressive in the United States and around the world. It's just not what that is. It is a warped concept of what Christianity is. And as far as I'm concerned, it is the worshiping false idols. And that's what the whole group falls in under. If there is hate in your heart, there is zero room for God. The end. That's it. That's all I'm going to say on it. I'm going to talk about the books that I've read and the authors that I have had the opportunity to interview this year. I have my top 3, and we're going to get to those, but I just wanted to start with some of the books that we've read. There's a couple books up here that I did last season. So this is a story about pizza. It was one of my last shows last season. It's still here. Good Mood Revolution was the first author to ever send me a book, and he's the one that kicked it off. And I love this book. And his name is Matt O'Neill. He's a great human. He's a great businessman. He's a great author. If you haven't read this book, I would highly recommend reading this book. It has a lot of really cool, smart tips on how to just reset your moods and get into a good place. Measuring Inclusion was an incredibly great book. Business centric, but not really. So it's business centric, but it is based on people, right? And it's actually they've done studies to write this book. And this book is by Paulo. I apologize if I mess up your name. Guardiano, and it is talking about DEI, but not DEI. Instead of measuring DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, just measuring inclusion. And what that might look like for a business is that, there should be mentorship opportunities at every level of the business, right? And those mentorship opportunities are meant to help people gain new skills and move up the corporate ladder or move out and up to a different business. Excellent book. A lot of really incredible insights in there. And I would highly recommend the read. We have the Homesteader Mindset by Elizabeth Bruckner. She was lovely. And inside that book, it's really cool, first and foremost. If this is something that's ever interested you in being a homesteader, it's done in such a sustainable way. I love the different things that she talks about, the different stories that she intertwines in here of the different people that have done the homesteading life. What I also love is that inside there are recipes to do certain, oh my gosh, make your own, I'm having goldfish moments. Ferment, sorry, that's the word I was looking for. Fermenting your own things at home. We have the living room formula, the living room design formula. And this was by Amy Barrickman, and she was just a little light to have. So many of these authors have been just delights to have on the show. And it's styling your home like a pro, one room at a time. And it gives you practical techniques on how to really put together your most incredible room ever. And this focuses on the living room. A Family Maybe was such a great book. Lane Gooden, I'm apologizing now. I would have said your name appropriately on the show when you were here, but it's been a long time and my brain just has virtual memory dumps a lot. So the book was incredible. And I really enjoyed this particular guest because he was talking about him and his partner and all that they had to go through to adopt these wonderful children. And this is something that interests you, to hear how families are, non-nuclear families are put together and the different trials and tribulations you have to go through from an adoption perspective. This is an incredible book. I mentioned D. Paul Fleming. He just goes by D. Paul on his book. And this is Mysteries at the Wingdam Inn, book 1. It's called The Feral Feline. I interviewed him not that long ago. And he has other books that are coming out as well. Really interesting books, kind of ghost stories and things like that. Absolutely, 100% highly recommend. The Secret Language of Your Body by Ina Segal. Absolutely, really, really interesting actually, because I've read this book and I'm working on something right now. I'll show you something. So my finger locks and it's happening to both hands. And it's really hard for me to open up the joint pain. So I'm working on that section in the book right now to try and get better because I love to crochet. I'll talk about that in a second, but I love to crochet and it's making it very painful to actually do the crochet. On this side, have The Maniac with No Knees. This story is absolutely riveting and insane, and the things that this guy has done. And it really resonated with me because he has bipolar disorder and I have bipolar too. And he talks so candidly about his experiences and the things that happen. And there's certain things in the book that just really sat so heavy with me. And I understood him when he was going through, but his life is very different than mine. But such an incredible book. And that is by Tyler Kenyon. Highly recommend as well. The next two books right here are 60 is a Good Start and Reignite the 60-Day Dare. This is by Allison McCune Davis, and she was truly delightful to work with and to have a conversation with. And essentially, it's a book about that a lot of people think like 60s old and, that's your next life, whereas 60 is a really great place to be. And this is the two books are really great together because one, it talks about the whole situation of turning 60 and things that you can do. And this one is kind of a workbook to help you reignite who you are at 60. Love this book. Love this series of books. Then we had Clementine Moss. She was wonderful as well, from Bonham to Buddha and back. It's gone from my mind. Scissor Sisters. I apologize immensely if I got that wrong. She's in a band and they tour and all of those things. And she's just so wonderful, just absolutely lovely and wonderful. And I really enjoyed reading this book, The Slow Enlightenment of the Hard Rock Drummer. That is who she is. So she's a drummer. She's been drumming for years. Now, here we have Your Mindset is Your Reality, a memoir of addiction, transformation, and magic of mushrooms. So this is by John Borden. I just interviewed him not too long ago. Really great book. He was a really interesting guest, and I really enjoyed what he's out there doing and talking about. Then we have The Girl of Many Crowns by D.H. Morris. That was a really great and interesting interview as well, because it's a fictionalized version of a real life story. She traced back her genealogy and discovered this. And I loved reading this book. We have No Turtle Blackberry. This was absolutely wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed Julie Barth. She was such a light and we connected so well. I just think you have to read this book. It's a really good, she's a DV survivor. And you have to read this book. It's absolutely wonderful. She also has a child with special needs. So we talked a lot about the life with a special needs child and different things that we can do to help those people that we see who have special needs children. Then we have Finding Lady Baltimore with Mila Maxwell. And Mila or Mila, I can't remember if it's the one or the other, but it's Mila Maxwell. And she was like talking to an old friend for me. Honestly, it was fantastic. And I really enjoyed the book, Finding Lady Baltimore. Anna Gomez is one of those people that I didn't get a chance to interview, but it was at the beginning of the year. So her book is up there anyway, somewhere along the way. Fascinating. And I would highly recommend. And now I want to tell you about my 3 top books that I got from my guest today. And I want to preface this by saying I am a bit biased because I've read them all. But my favorite genre, the favorite thing that pulls me in is suspense thrillers. Like, it really is the thing that pulls me in. So I'm going to start off when you can decide whether it's the third or the second in a moment when I tell you more. So my third or second, depending on how you decide, is The Change of Heart by Christina Laporte. So this is one of the first first fiction books that I received. I need to stop for a second and I'll tell you why. I skipped over Black Wellness Barriers because I wanted to come back to it. Black Wellness Barriers, I will take a moment to actually talk about this really quickly. Dr. Tawana Houston, I apologize again if I messed up your name. This book is such an incredibly important book. It's understanding the root cause of disease vulnerabilities as a pathway towards restoring health. I read this book, I have this interview, and I just didn't know. You know what I mean? I'm always the first to say that I didn't know something or I didn't understand something. I just didn't know until I read this book and then had this conversation with the author about how severe the systemic issues exist within the healthcare towards Black people. And I said it then and I'll say it again now. We need to do better. And if you have interest in being a better person, and a better ally to Black communities, especially in the healthcare space. This book, Black Wellness Barriers, is an absolute must read because it will open your eyes and it shines a lens on something that we just take for granted all the time. So absolutely pick up this book, Black Wellness Barriers by Dr. Tawana Houston. All right. Change of Heart by it is Dr. Castillo Works. She is a cardiac surgeon, if I remember correctly. This book was the first fiction book that I had been sent. I read this book. It was so good. I won't talk because I almost ruined the whole book because I get so excited when I'm talking about a book. Because of it, I stopped reading the endings of most books so that I couldn't accidentally ruin a book while filming. I know we can edit after, but it's just one of those things to be a little bit more safe. She was an absolute joy to connect with and to talk about the story. This book is so fascinating to me because it's founded in medicine, of course, being a doctor herself. And the opening chapter it just kind of, it blew me away. And it hooked me right from the beginning. Like I said, I said things on the podcast that we had to edit out because I ruined it for her because I was so excited. But if you want a really good thriller, medical thriller, this book is my either third or second. And now I'll tell you why it's been either third or second. These two books right here. So Recoil of Justice by Brad Elder. Okay. And then Enemies Domestic by John Dudakis. Okay. I like books that give me sort of visceral feelings, physical feelings of like I can feel it in my body. And both of these books are so well written and so keep you on the edge of your seat that first of all, can't recommend both of them to you enough. Like if you want a really good book to just get lost in and you like suspense, so even if you don't, just pick it up. They're both equally different, but equally fantastic to read. So this book by Brad Elder, Recoil of Justice, is about human trafficking. And wow, just wow to me. And it's his first book, but it doesn't read like it's someone's first book. It's so well crafted. The story's so well crafted. I love a book that lets my brain sort of paint that image as you're reading through. And that this book did it. And I got the opportunity to interview him, which was really exciting because, all the books are great and I loved all of the books. And I love the idea of reading an author's book or interviewing an author of a book that I've read. When I read a story that gets me like my heart palpitating, and which this book also did, it was like interviewing a celebrity to me when I met with Brad Elder. And if you haven't read it, go read it. And then the second book over here, Enemies Domestic by John Dudakis. I had the same sort of I read the book, I picked it up. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to just read a chapter or two, and which is hard for me because it was a particularly busy period of time in my life. So I picked it up and I ended up reading the book in 5.5 hours. I had to go to bed because I go to bed every night at 10 because I'm so, that's my routine. So I stayed up past 10. It was like 10:30. I was like, okay, I have to close the book. There's only a little bit left, but I'll read the rest in the morning. And I went to bed. I did not sleep well because my mind was in that book. This book, if you have been paying attention for the last year, this book was released in 2024 summer. And when you read this book, there's a lot of correlations. It's almost like the guy predicted some of the shit that was going to happen in 2025. I was on the edge of my seat because what was happening while I was reading it was like, oh my God, this stuff is happening right now. Could the really crazy stuff happen right now? And with the year that we've had with the 2025 American politics, it doesn't feel that far-fetched at all. It starts, I have to tell you the other thing as well. It starts one way and then it goes a completely different way. It's starts in a way that has you hooked and you're reading it. And then the next thing you know, it takes a hard right turn where you're like drifting around a corner and goes in a different direction and you don't even see it coming. And I can't tell you enough how this book is a definite pick up and read. John Dudakis is also a former White House correspondent. He's worked on CNN with Wolf Blitzer, I believe is correct. Absolutely lovely human being as well. This person, I'm pretty certain I did it to both, but this one I remember is more recent. The interview was booked for like 3.5 weeks later. And I was so excited that I just didn't want to wait. And I messaged him and I said, like, can we just do this now? Can we do it like tomorrow and talk about this book? And he was so accommodating. And we got on a call and recorded that episode like the next day. And it was fantastic. So the reason you can decide whether or not this is my top three or my top two is because I cannot decide which one of these is my top one. And I've tried. I've like went down both like pros and cons and story and everything. And they're just both so wonderful and great. And so maybe this is my top two and these are tied for the number one place. I don't know. I would love for you guys to pick up both books, all three of them, actually. You'll really enjoy them. And then give me your rating of, whether you think I put Christine Laporte's Change of Heart, Enemies Domestic by John Dudakis, or Recoil of Justice by Brad Elder in the wrong order. Would absolutely challenge you in 2026 January to get those books and then comment on this episode or send me an email or whatever and let me know if you think that I put them in the right place. That's my books. I just want to say a massive thank you to all my guests this year. I have loved every single one. I'm being mindful of time. I don't want to go over an hour. My show, I've been told, is a little bit longer, and I'm fine with that. I'm not for everyone, but hopefully people can find something from every show that helps them. So I said earlier in the show that this was my last Poddin My Noggin episode, and I wasn't lying. So through a lot of sort of soul searching and thinking and all of those things, also reaching out to different people for advice and that sort of thing, I've decided that I am rebranding the show to be more authentically me. Poddin My Noggin, I am grateful for because it was a moniker that I could hide behind a little bit in the beginning when I was super afraid. And so I was able to do the thing and put myself out there but still sort of hide behind. What if my friends see? What if my family see? What if people at work see, this show? And Poddin My Noggin was, I had blog in my noggin, which was my blog. So it just felt right. But it really was a moniker to kick things off and to move into a new space. And it's been 2 years. And I'm very proud of the show that I've created so far. And I'm very proud of the work that we've done and the interviews I've had. And I'm looking forward to all of the cool things that are going to come in the future. So I've decided to have a show that's more authentically me. And by doing that, it is going to be named the CK Sims Show. And that will start as of the new year, so tomorrow. And so the first episode that will air towards the end of January in 2026 will be the CK Sims Show. The Poddin My Noggin may not go away completely. I may have a Poddin My Noggin segment on one of my shows where I just sort of take certain things that are on my mind and come in and have a Poddin My Noggin segment. So that's happening. I'm very happy about it. I'm very comfortable with making that change. And I feel like it's more reflective of who I am, the CK Sims Show. And it's just me, with my intentions on my crystals here, my candles, things like that, stepping into me more wholly and doing the things that I want to do and what I love to do. So the next season, I am manifesting all kinds of new things as well. Like I said before, I want to have musicians and comedians and actors and public figures, Brené Brown, Oprah. That would be great. I'm manifesting these. I went to see Sarah Millican here in September of this year. And God, I've loved her since 2020 when I discovered her. And I absolutely would love to have her on the show and sit down and just talk about how she got to where she is today. And she's bloody brilliant and one of my favorite comedians ever. So putting that out in the universe as well. I am looking for and manifesting partners and sponsors that share like-minded values. I believe in being good and being kind, and everyone deserves the right to live free of fear and to have their rights protected, and that corruption and harming others should be like met with hard judicial responses. That's kind of my values, right? Kindness, love everyone, create safe spaces, all of those particular things. So if you're out there and you are a company or companies or a conglomerate or whoever, and you want to get involved with the show and become a sponsor and a partner, that would be absolutely great. You can reach me at cksims@cksims.com. Yes.com. And I would love to have those conversations with you. Something else I want to do this year is I want to do, when I'm on social media, which is not very often because I got off for, my own mental health preservation, but I do realize that I'm ready to kind of dive back in a little bit. When I'm on social media, I see all of these incredible, talented small business owners, trying to, do their own thing and make life happen for themselves. And they have interesting products and all of those things. So I want to add in the new set of CK Sims show episodes for 2026, segments maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks of small businesses that, are making their thing and they're selling their products. And I want to feature them on like a 15-minute segment of the show, talk about how they got started, what their goals are, and how people can get in touch with them. And maybe we can do some like cool little collaborations with their product lines. Like if you're making a candle, it could be like CK's favorite scent or something like that. I don't know. But that's what I'm manifesting for the CK Sim show in 2026. So if you're a small business owner and you are out there, let's do it. Let's get connected and have you on the show on the small business segment for 2026. Something else I really want to start doing, I've always loved about talk shows, is having giveaways and prizes and things like that. I love that. And so this ties in with, certain things I'm going to do myself. And then also I would love to do like partnerships with with businesses who have like some swag or things that they want to give away and people can earn it through the show and that sort of thing. I want to feature everyday heroes, people who are doing their best and tell their stories. And then so many things. There's so many things that will come down the road. We'll see Jen Lord at the beginning of next episodes in 2026. And as for me and myself on New Year's Eve, I am going to be continuing to crochet a blanket that I started. I picked up crochet this year as an activity for me and my bestie to do while he was visiting, and I have run with it. He has done stuff, but I've run with it, and I really enjoy the crocheting of things. I needed a red blanket for the holidays, and now I'm making another one, and I'm about to start a new project where I'm going to be trying accordion. So I do love to make things. We know this. Every month this year, I got into sublimation this past year as well, and designing and things like that. You can see sort of like the small and one of the ones that I did there. So I am a very creative person. So each month this year, I'm going to sublimate. I'm going to create a design for January all through each of the months and make them customizable by name. And then I'm going to feature them on the show, the website, and people can go on and purchase. It'll be whatever the price will be shipping included. So it'll be priced with that considered. That's going to happen. And I'm just checking my notes for everything just to make sure I'm good. I talked about everything. Yes, I talked about everything. I talked a lot. And anyway, I just want to thank you all for tuning in each and every time. I appreciate it more than you could possibly know. I know that there's a lot of people who would have given up by now if they didn't have, like I said, the show isn't monetized yet. There's not enough subscribers, like that sort of thing. Not enough people watching. I'm open to feedback too from my viewers. Like if they want to see something different or see something, or they have a guest that they'd like to see let me know. There's a lot of ways that you can get in touch with me. I am on Instagram. While I don't actually go on very often yet, my messages are monitored and I am informed when new ones arrive. So let me know. Let me know what you want to do. I want this to be a community and a partnership where, I do the things that I want to do, but I also do things that my audience wants to see. And I thank you for every single person that has spent the time watching an episode, whether that was a portion of it or the whole episode. I appreciate it. I appreciate every single person that is subscribed. I try to respond to every comment, which is not that hard right now because there's not that many, but I feel like in 2026, there's going to be so many that I'm not going to be able to keep up with all of them. That's what I'm putting out there in the world. And all my guests for the last season, we're going to do a thank you sort of like we did last year. We're going to do a thank you reel essentially of capturing all of the guests that I've had on the show this year. And I thank you all for taking time out of your lives to come on the Poddin My Noggin show and share with us your story. It's been so wonderful connecting with each other. And I think that's really why I keep doing what I do, despite like not doing things, is because I get to connect with really cool people. And that is such a joy that I love. And also the books. And and some people tell me that it is because my SEO is not correct or whatever the situation is. And I had $10 for every time I got an email with someone telling me that and offering their services to, I would be like currently spending New Year's in the Royal Atlantis Royal Suites with my besties poolside. Like that's how much money I'd have from all of the people who reach out to me on a weekly, sometimes daily basis, telling me like my SEO and people can't find me and my listeners can't find me because things are not optimized and keywords. And like, it's all a foreign language to me that we try our best to do our best. At the end of the day, maybe it is something that prevents me from reaching more people. I don't have the answer. And so if you're out there and you want to be a partner and let me know. I'm a little hesitant when people reach out and say that they could fix it, but then they don't give me a price on how much they're going to fix it for. And then I would have to give them access to my channels and things to do it. A little hesitant. If the universe wants that for me, they're going to give it to me. They're going to bring it up. It's going to come up in an organic way and it's going to be affordable. I am a transformation consultant. That is what I do for a living. And this year has been an interesting up and down sort of year. So I'm currently have a contract and things are comfortable and okay. So I'm manifesting more of that for myself in the new year. And now, as I approach the 1 hour mark, I have like 20 seconds left. I want to say to everyone that's watching and everyone that will see this episode and any future episodes, a deep, deep, grateful thank you. Regardless of where you're at in this moment or where you want to be, I hope that you show yourself true kindness, true love. Be the person that you need from anybody else. Be that person for yourself. I hope you find peace in your hearts and in your spirits for this New Year's Eve and for the year to come. And I thank you so much for being a part of this journey. And I will catch you next year, next season with the all-new CK Sim Show. Until then, everyone, get out there and live your wildest dreams.
For media and sponsorship inquiries, email info@cksims.com or visit cksims.com and fill out the contact form. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. A new episode airs every Saturday. CKS Media.